Today in our Saturday opinion piece, we're going to go over what collateral damage when the Fed raises rates. And one of those is consumer debt. We're going to look at the Q2 consumer debt and household debt here in the United States. But before we jump into that, hello everyone and welcome to Real Estate Daily. My name is Troy. And on Monday through Saturday, we give you the latest news in real estate, housing, and the mortgage markets. Today is our opinion piece, so it's a special day to take a deeper dive into the couple articles that we're going to go over. Now, before I jump into that, smash that subscribe button. Also, check us out on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. Got TikTok Live right here going. And if you have any questions or anything, you can DM us, or what you can do is you can see other articles and other actual information on how the real estate market works, some of the interesting facts and things that we actually see when we're out there showing clients, and really good information about when you look at a home, what you should be looking for and how to pick the right agent. Let's jump right into this. This is from the Fed, the New York Fed Q2, and this is some crazy information that we're seeing. Now, we understand that inflation's here, and I've been telling people that the two things that when the Fed raises rates, what the two things that immediately are affected. Number one are mortgage rates, which we've gone over and over now. And the second thing is consumer debt. And I talk about consumer debt, but we really don't look at those numbers because a lot of people just don't really care. But today we'll do a little bit deeper dive. So the New York Fed actually comes out every 3 months or every quarter with what they see as consumer debt, the information and the numbers. So I'm going to read on this. This is the household debt and credit report Q2 2022. It says the total household debt rose $312 billion or 2% in the second quarter of 2022 to reach $16.15 billion, according to the latest quarterly report of household debt and credit mortgage balances. The largest component of household debt climbed $207 billion and stood at $11.39 trillion as of June 30th. Credit card balance saw their largest year-over-year percentage increase in more than 20 years. That is scary, guys. People are using their credit cards, and the separation of, let's call it the poor versus then the middle class, which is pushing down some people off the middle class into the poor, and some of the people that are struggling in the middle class to stay afloat are sitting there. This middle class today, in the last, I'll call it 6 to 12 months, has now been starting to break up a lot. This used to be the number one area where people really wanted to be middle class, homeowner, with little or no debt, but we're seeing that completely change. So let me continue with this. While aggravated limits on cards marked their largest increase in over 10 years, transitions into delinquencies ticked up but remain low compared to historic levels. That's the only good part. But what actually happens when you have delinquencies? Well, delinquencies are because you have more and more and more debt. So the more debt you have, you're holding, if any little issue happens in your financial life, then what do you start not paying? Well, you got to pay for gas to get to work. You go to work. Well, then you start to not pay a credit card or two, and then you don't worry about your credit score. And so those are the things that you first stop paying, right? You got to eat, so you're buying food. Some people will stop making mortgage payments. Other people will stop making credit card payments. So those are the things that we look at. So it's a trail. So delinquencies are always trailing here. But what just concerns me is that this is an all-time high, a 20-year, I should say all-time high. It's a 20-year high, and which was the last recession that we had, last huge recession we had. I'm just scared because I don't see this recession, ending anytime soon. I know Elon Musk came out and said it's going to be at least 2 more years of it. We just don't know what's going to happen in the future. I know a lot of people are a lot more dovish right now. The Fed chairman came out last week after he raised rates by 75 basis points and said that he gave it a little bit of, we're cooling off a little. We want to look at the numbers, said all kinds of stuff. But this week, we saw the interest rates jump. And why? Because the other Fed chairman across the United States started saying, well, hold on. we're not dovish. We're still in a very much high inflation environment, and we have to keep raising rates. So now, at one point, everyone thought, well, maybe in September we'll raise it 25 basis points. Well, now the hard money is sitting on 50 basis points, and I think we're going to run into a 75 basis point raise. Now, there's a lot of political pressure coming from the White House onto the Fed Chairman Powell. So I don't know if it's going to be that hawkish in September, but I do feel he is going to be a little bit manipulated by the elections that are coming up at the very beginning of November. Next article. Danger ahead. U.S. economy has yet to face its biggest recession challenge. Well, I mean, the biggest recession, I mean, we've already run into challenges of gasoline. We've run into challenges of energy. We've run into challenges of food. All those have gone up. I think there's two things that we haven't really run into, and there's a possible third. Number one, if this bill, this inflation reduction bill goes through, we are going to see inflation jump. Again, we're spending money, and we're spending money out of control in Washington. We just passed a $250 billion get rich chip bill, I call it, instead of giving incentives to chip manufacturers by cutting taxes. We'll just go ahead and give them $250 billion. So the rich keep getting richer on this regime that we have. Then we turn around and now we want to get Inflation Reduction Act. It's not reducing inflation. I saw 239 analysts come out and said this is only going to jump inflation. And this is because I believe all the Democrats are feeling that they're going to be voted out heavily in the midterms. And now they want to give their last shot at adding a lot more money into spending. If you break the bill down, a couple of things that are really concerning to me is that they're going to raise taxes, and that is not going to be good. And I know a lot of you out there, they're going to raise taxes on the 400,000 plus. Come on, guys, let's be honest. The numbers that they reel out, it's just BS. If you're going to tax small businesses, what are the small businesses going to do? They're just going to take that money that they have to pay, and they're going to increase their bottom line to make up for it. So that means all their cost of goods are going up for us. It's a tax on us. It is not a tax on them. And then to make sure we're paying tax, we're going to give billions of dollars to the IRS to hire 80,000 more IRS agents? Who's going to raise their hand and want 80,000 more IRS agents? Oh, that's just ridiculous. Then you want to go and speed up, the green initiative. So now we're going to lose how many tens of thousands of jobs? Guys, this is not good. Spending money is not good. It's not an environment that we should be doing right now. But of course, when you have one side taking control of the government, and they feel that this is their last hurrah, they're going to go out with a bang. And this is exactly what's happening. Man, that is number one issue that I have out there. Another one is a black swan event. So a black swan event could be anything that happens in the world. We don't know. Maybe a nuclear device goes off. Maybe there's another war. China attacks Taiwan. Maybe maybe China has so much internal strife that the people rebel and it turns into a civil war there. So any of those things can happen, can make a big, big impact on the world, which would cause a world recession and hurt us more. The third thing is we're seeing that our money, which the dollar is the world world currency, is now starting to go down and down. So more countries are now interacting and paying for goods without the dollar being involved. Before, the dollar was always involved, but now the dollar is being less and less involved. And a lot is because these sanctions that we have given out onto the world about the war in Ukraine. So with that being said, China and Russia, who are lending money and buying from each other, are not buying in dollars anymore. So those two huge countries are going to cut down the amount of money spent, and that money, that money, that dollars that they're not using, sooner or later, as the world comes out of a recession or comes out of their recessionary times and inflationary times, our dollar is going to get weaker and weaker. And when it does, inflation goes up and up, especially cost of goods. Guys, there's nothing good here. Those are the three major dangers ahead that we see in a recession challenge. And last article here is from Dr. Parik. I love what he said here. I missed this. I know that, there's then this whole debate about the government saying we're not in a recession yet. If you look up a dictionary, they'll look up a recession. It says 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP. I love what this Dr. Parik Patel says. He says the best way to avoid a recession is to simply change the definition of a recession. That is awesome. I love it. I laughed when I saw this. This is fantastic. And it's true. It is absolutely true. Regardless if we're in a recession, we're definitely in inflation. We should all know that we're hurting, and we shouldn't be trying to just change the wording to make people feel better. Nobody feels better when they're pumping gas. Nobody feels better at the checkout line at the grocery store. Nobody feels better when they're paying their bills, their energy bills, on a monthly basis. Guys, thank you very much. This is my opinion piece for today. I know I went on a rant. Guys, leave comments below if you have any questions. Leave them below. I'm more than happy to answer them for you. I am an open book. I want to listen to everybody. I know my opinion is not necessarily the right opinion, nor is it the only opinion. And with that being said, please enjoy your weekend. Guys, take care and be safe.